welcome to Learn Extra Live Grade 11s. As you know, this is Life Sciences. I'm Katleho and this is Llewellyn.
Hello.
How are you, Llewellyn?
Right in yourself?
Are you good?
Not too bad.
That's
It's been a long
great.
day.
That's long day?
Long
well,
day.
Here's for energy. Whoop, whoop. That's the
Stupid
energy.
joke.
What are we doing today?
Body plans.
Body plans.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're going to
Tell us
carry on.
more.
We've been doing it for, this is the third week
Okay.
now already. So hopefully the guys are here and they can remember
Yeah.
what I've done.
Okay, that's exciting. You can go over to the
Cool.
board. So as you guys know, that is body plans. You have been doing it for the past 2 weeks. So if if you're one of those that have been joining us since the first time, this is the third week and it should get more exciting from here, as you already know that. So of course, you know, facebook.com/learn extra, where you can ask anything, say anything, make any comments, post any photos, anything that you wish to do today. The page is open for you. We also have our Twitter handle @learn extra, where you can also post questions or anything that you want to. Remember that on Facebook, don't inbox, guys. Put it right on the page so that I can see it and everyone else can see it, so that if they want to help you, they can help you. And in case I miss the inbox, I can catch it right away if you put it right on the page. Over to you, Llewellyn.
Thanks, Kat. Well, good evening, guys. Hopefully you're ready to work, and hopefully you can remember what we've been doing for the last 3 weeks, and remember all the big words. Now, last week, I got to the end piece, which was round worms, right? And round, or should I say segmented worms. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to start from there, because I promised you I would. And we're going to go through it and actually go as far as possible. Now, when we did it, we ended off with the flat worms, and we spoke about all of them. We're going to start off with, let's get it going. There we go. It's called your annelids. Now, guys, you cannot tell me. Now, I know last week we spoke about beautiful, but you can't tell me that is not gorgeous. Just have a look at them, right? The colors, the type of species it is, it's beautiful. You know, that's what's so nice about going through your file, is you actually see how beautiful things actually are, right? So I want you to have a good look, and I want you to enjoy. Now, I know you've seen this thing before, right? This is what you get when you fishermen and you use earthworms. Well, they used to use earthworms, and these are the things that when you were younger, the little boys used to grab out of the ground and chase the little girls with it, and until the one day the girl turns around and chases them back with it. But it's not the point, right? You got your gorgeous worms, you got your normal, plain, simple worms. Okay, so let us get started. We are doing annelids. Okay, the annelids. That is segmented worms, right? It's exactly what it is. Segmented is different sections. Okay, so most of them are marine, are your marine worms. Okay, you do get the ones that live on Earth, but they are all a lot of them are your marine worms, right? You get your annelids, which are your annelids that come from the ground or from the earth, and that is called your leeches and your earthworms, which you will notice your leeches you normally find in your dams and that, right? So you do get the ones that are in the water there, but most of them are marine, in other words, salt water, right? Now, the body plans of them, okay? The most important thing to remember, they are segmented. In other words, they have sections. Now, if you had a look at, let me just go back to the last one. It's nice and easy to see on the, no, maybe not that nice on the earthworm, but let's see where I can find it. There we go. Look at this one over here. You can actually see, look at all the different little segments over there, right? That is why they're called segmented worms. You actually see the different sections or segments of each worm, which is cool, right? It's always nice to see something different. We've been looking at all the plain stuff and the not so cool, and then we start getting into the lacquer things now, right? The nice things that's going to keep us going, right? And now we come to those big words again. Now, remember we've been talking about the symmetry, right? These things are bilaterally symmetrical. In other words, you can cut them down the middle. It's very nice. Looks exactly the same on the left as on the right. So don't forget, bisymmetrical, right? It has a coelom. Can you all remember what a coelom is? Right? It's a bag inside filled with liquid, right? And it's between the endodermis or the gut, right? And the mesoderm, right? which is nice. It's there where your organs hang around in, But there is a layer, like a, what do you call it, the bag actually goes around this organ, right? It's got a layer, it's got a film around it, okay? It's got a lining, in other words. There it is. The coelom lined the mesoderm. Right, so I'm giving you nice information. You should remember what these big words are. The mesoderm, remember, you get the ectoderm, which is the outside. You get the endoderm, which is the inside. And the piece in the middle is called your mesoderm, which is cool, right? You get your mesoderm. Here's a nice big word for you, okay? You get your hydrostatic skeleton. Hydrostatic skeleton. Kat, do you know what that means?
No clue.
Okay, hydrostatic means hydro. It's that stuff that we like drinking. Do you know what that is? Water, very nice. We've got the water. Hydrostatic is water. So they try and make it as easy as possible. Hydrostatic, water, and skeleton, for me and you, is bones, right? The inside stuff that everything's joined to. So Mr. Skeleton Man, right? Hydrostatic skeleton, and I'm going to explain to you in 2 seconds how that actually works, okay? Then, as I said, it's segmented, makes it very, very important. Now, each segment of this worm actually works individually to each other, okay? Now, if I had to draw it here, you would get me and this side of the board. Never work. Come on. Okay, that's never going to erase. Let me try it again. There it is. There's the one section. Then you get the next section, and you get the next section. Now, each one of these sections, you won't believe it, but it actually has, it gets rid of waste products in that all by itself, which is quite cool, even though it's got a through gut. Can you remember what a through gut means? It means it's got a mouth on the one side, it's got an anus on the bottom, so it goes through, and each section gets its thing. But it does like its gaseous exchange, and you know what gaseous exchange is? It's where we get rid of all the gases that it needs, right? So it gets rid of all of this. So this works independently from each other. This works independently from this one, and this one works independently from that one. Okay, so it's a nice thing. It's quite complicated, but it's cool, right? Nice. And then, can you remember this big word? I'm actually going to throw it out to Kat in a few seconds, so don't stress, right? That word, cephalization, right? Can you remember? Not civilization. Kat, can you give me what that means?
Civilization.
No, cephalization.
Civilization, no, not yet. But after you tell me, I'll be able to tell you.
She's very clever. Cephalization means that the nerves, there's a lot of nerves together in a common point, all together. Remember? That is cephalization. It is almost like a brain. So all your nerve endings and all your nerves and that come to one specific part, and that there is called cephalization, right? So this is where you start getting things like a brain. I don't know if I'm going to say that right, but a brain, okay? Now, that's where all your nerves come together, and we're making a brain. Cool? Then you get your anterior contains a brain. So I put that there as a brain because it's going to make you remember it, right? So the front of it has got a brain, and the back has got something else. Not a brain.
Not a brain, the opposite.
It's opposite to a brain. So the through gut, you got the mouth, and you got the end piece, or the anterior end, which is where your anus is, and that is, right? Where it gets rid of the waste product, okay? These things, before I go all the way, these things are streamlined. Now, if you think about it, right, your earthworm, it's nice and thin, and it's streamlined. It starts as a point, and it gets a bit fatter, and it goes all the way to the end, and it goes to a point again, right? That's how this thing works. It's streamlined. It's like a fast car or a bike or something, you know? It's streamlined. It's beautiful. Okay, and another nice thing about this is it's got no sense, your prominent sense organs, right? The sense organs don't come out like sticking out of its head. I mean, it's not going to be able to burrow in the ground. If it's got these sense organs on the top of its head that's protruding and all over the place, it's not going to go very far, right? So they make sure that everything's on the inside. Okay, now what I've done is, I didn't do it, but I found it, right? I took a earthworm and I cut it in half, right? So if the earthworm is like that, right? I'm going to take it like this and I'm going to cut it in half. And the piece that's on that side, I'm going to stand like this and I'm going to show you from the front. Okay? So if I move this down, this earthworm is coming from the back of the board and it's coming through towards you. So that's a piece, and I cut it down the middle, and now we've seen it. Okay? Now, I was telling you about this thing called hydrostatic skeleton. Okay, now this part here, oh, that's not going to work. That looks terrible. Okay, that piece there, okay, has got, can you remember what that name is? Okay, that piece there has got your coelom in it, right? So that will give you, it's filled with water. All of this is filled with a liquid, right? And this liquid, okay, it gives this animal some hard stuff inside, like something physically and hard. And it actually pushes the skin, which is this piece, it pushes this piece out into the open, right? So it pushes it away, and if it pushes it away, it makes it nice and firm, like a jumping castle. Without the air inside a jumping castle, right, this thing is flat. The minute you fill it with air, what does it do? We can jump on it and go crazy, like us youngsters, that includes me, us youngsters and Kat,
Oh, okay.
right? Jumping on a jumping castle, we can jump on it. There's air in the inside, that's got a skeleton. Its air is its skeleton. This thing, water, is its skeleton, which is quite nice, right? So this is the whole piece we're looking at. Okay, this is hydrostatic skeleton, right? If we carry on, okay, well, before we carry on, I want you to get to this. This part, this end piece after the hydrostatic skeleton, right? I've explained this to you. I want you to remember that as we're going through, we're getting more and more and more difficult. Okay, it's becoming more and more difficult all the time. These animals are becoming more and more complex, right? So just remember that. The next one that we're going to talk about, okay, is your arthropoda. Okay, now, I don't know what cats like, but I like these type of things, right?
Whoa,
Cat,
that
can you
is
see it?
Scary. No, I'm not looking.
That is a
I am not
spider. Look
looking.
at the size
No,
of that spider.
thank
It is
you.
huge. Right, that's the size of a man's face.
Hey, that is disgusting.
This is arthropoda, right? These are the cool things. Now, you get a certain amount of arthropoda, and they're classified in different things, right? But we're going to start doing it slowly but surely. So, we have spiders. That's one of them, okay? The next one, there we go. I'm going to leave that. Okay, can you think of a name? I know you guys are coming with centipede and millipede and things like that. So, yes, that is a centipede, right? Cool. Let's carry on. Think what that is? It's a crab. Cool. We got a crab. So, crab is another type. And then the last one we're looking at, okay, is an insect. Insect. Yeah, I can see you crawling there all the time. Your skin crawling.
Yeah,
it
is
becomes. I
disgusting.
love these things because you can find them in your garden. So you can actually go out and actually have a look. Well, not all gardens. You're not going to find certain things in the garden, but you can go out and have so much fun by having a look at this. Please do not kill the animal. If you are scared of spiders, get somebody to help you. If you're scared of anything like this, let's have people try and take them out, catch them and take them outside, let them live. I know a good friend of mine that is so scared of this. It's so scary. I mean, it's a what is this thing called again? Springcon.
I don't know. It's disgusting.
Grasshopper.
They're
There we
called
go. Grasshopper, right? He's so scared of it, it's ridiculous. But it's unbelievable. But these are the nice pictures. So we're going to start off and I can explain each and every one in more detail. Right, so let's start with the first one. The first one we're going to start with, right, is, wait, before we start, I'm going to tell you, you got your spiders, insects, crabs, and your myriapoda. What is a myriapoda? Now, this is the first one I didn't mention, right? And this first one I haven't mentioned. There's two types, and that's why I only showed you one picture of the one type. Okay, but we'll get to them. Now, they are the largest number of individuals on Earth, right? There is lots of them. Now remember I said insects. There's a fact that says if I took all the elephants in the world, in South Africa, and I weighed them, and I took all the ants in the world, and I weighed them, the ants would be heavier. That's how
Wow,
many
that's
there are.
interesting. Yeah.
Unbelievable, right? They also eat the most food. They eat the most food, which is crazy. I mean, these things don't stop eating, okay? So they eat the most food, okay? They're found in most habitats. So all over, they're found in all the different habitats we can think of. They are found in them, right? Which is cool. These are unbelievable. Okay, now, before we get to all of them, things that they all have in common. Remember, as we're increasing in our complexity of this animal, right, we start looking at, we went from asymmetrical, then we went to radial symmetrical, right? Can you all remember these words? Then you went to bisymmetrical. So bisymmetrical is a more complex one, okay? So there it is, bisymmetrical, okay? This thing does not have a hydroskeleton. It's not worried about water on the inside. We need to get another type of skeleton, okay? Does not have a hydroskeleton. It's got a different one, okay? Now we start looking at the skeletons on the outside. So it has an outside, which means exit. So it's an exoskeleton. Okay, now this word here. Now, you might hear it different from your teacher. A lot of people say it differently, but I always call it chitin, right? The nice way of calling it chitin is that you can remember how to spell it, right? So chitin, that is a type of material that gives them, it's like having an armors on you. You know, like in the old days where you had armor and all of that, that's steel armor. Now, instead of having it made out of steel, it's made out of a certain chemical formula called chitin, okay? Next thing, it's a true cephalization. True cephalization means you can actually see where all these nerves and that are going to the end, right? It's all going to a specific point, which is cool, right? All to the top, doesn't go all to the, it's not all over the place. It's found in one specific part, and then it moves along to other places, right? Specialized sense organs, okay? Sorry, I went all the way to the wrong side. Specialized sense organs. Now, specialized sense organs, if you think about it, smell. Okay, that's a sense organ. Touch, that's a sense organ. So it's got all the different feeling things, right? Which, if you look at, is very good. It's more complex. The more complex something becomes, the better it is. Okay, so this is what I'm having a look at. Arthropods, these are the main things. This is what all arthropods have in common. Okay, now, before we go into which arthropod is where and how we find them and what they look like, okay, we are going for a break. But during the break, please send me some questions, right? I only know if you understand this if you let me know you understand it. And if you don't understand something, we need to fix it as quick as possible. Okay, Kat, all yours.
Thank you. That is very true, guys. You heard correctly. If you are confused about something or something just isn't sitting well, this is the right time to send in any questions that you may have. And I mean anything. See you right now. Welcome back, Mindsetters. As you know, if you have just joined us, we are, as you know, like you wouldn't know if you've just joined us. So, in case you have just joined us, we are doing life sciences for grade 11s, guys. And today, we are doing body plans with Llewellyn. It has been an absolutely amazing show so far. So, I'm glad that those of you who are here are here. And in case you just want to help other learners, you better tell them right now to join, because this is a very important section in your life sciences syllabus. And of course, the interaction on Facebook is absolutely amazing. I would love more, but hey, this is just fine for me. Over to you, Llewellyn.
Thanks, Kat. Before I carry on, I know Kat's forgotten one person. Special lady for the day.
Yes, there is a special
Special
birthday
lady
today.
for the day.
Happy birthday, Anele. I know she's such a regular. So today, because you're on Mindset, we are giving you such a special shout out just so that you enjoy your birthday. Hey, Llewellyn.
Yes, definitely, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, and she's enjoying the lesson.
Exactly, so
So
it's a
hey,
positive.
that's a birthday. Do you want some questions?
Yes, please, if you've got something.
Okay, cool. We've got questions by Takalani, who asks, how can we distinguish annelids from other worms?
Okay, now, that's a nice question. You only get two types of worms, right? If you remember, you get Platyhelminthes, which is your flatworms, remember? And then you get your round worms, or should I say your segmented worms, which are your annelids. So when your worm is flat, it's the flatworms. When your worm is round, it's your segmented worms. And you can actually see the different sections, which is nice, right? You do see sections in flatworms, but they flat, which is a good key to look at. Flatworms, Platyhelminthes, right? And then your segmented worms, which are your annelids. Okay. I hope that answers his question.
Yes, that does. I'm sure it does.
Okay.
And there's another one by him, actually, as well. Of what value are earthworms to farmers?
Earthworms. Now, if you go to soil that is not very fertile, you will never find earthworms, which is quite cool. What earthworms actually do is they aerate the soil, right? First of all, they change nitrogen into something we can use. Is it nitrogen or nitrates? But it changes a chemical formula inside the ground so that the plants can actually grow. Okay, so earthworms are actually very important for farmers because if they actually eat up all the rubbish, right, they change all the different, they change the soil to be used so that farmers can use it. Without them, we can't use the soil, which is very important. So you'll notice farmers love earthworms. Okay,
Awesome, you can
perfect.
carry on.
Now, we ended off with what these this arthropods all have in common, right? If we look at the first one, okay, crustaceans. They are marine and fresh water, okay? They live inside the water. Now, as I said, your crustaceans, can you give me what a crustacean is? Okay, I'm always going to tell you this. Remember, we saw a spider, we saw a grasshopper, we saw, what else did we saw a centipede, right? And we saw a crab.
Yeah.
A crab, right. Now, out of those, okay, which one do you think is the crustacean? Now, the crustacean is the ones that look big and mean and solid and they look vicious, right? Those are your crustaceans. They have your big, heavy armor, right? They are found in the sea. So it is a crab, right? Sea or freshwater. They are crabs. They have jointed exoskeleton, okay? They are not separated inside, okay? So they're not segmented inside, okay? So if I had a look, I know I've got a picture here in a few minutes, which I'll show you, right? They are not segmented inside, which means that their body is completely one. Just outside, their armor or their skeleton is segmented because, let me just put that down. If I have an armor is like this, right? How am I going to move? It can't move anywhere. It's strong. So what they do is they segment it, so when you want to move it, one can go underneath the other. So you can actually move, right? So if it's like that, if it wants to go up, it can go underneath. If it wants to go above, it can go underneath. So this whole thing can move, right? It's very important. Even the joints can move. If it's solid, one piece, you can't move it. It must be separated so that you can actually move. Okay, very important. That's what makes them so special, is their exoskeleton, right, has joints in it or sections in it, but underneath there is no section. Okay, so that is what we get for your crustaceans, okay, and there is a crustacean. Exactly what I said. If you have a look, see how it's joined. There's the one. And it looks like it's in sections. Can you see how it looks like in section? The same as we did with the annelids. The only difference is the annelid, remember, looked like different sections, right? That was your annelid. And these guys have sections. Let me just do that. They've got different sections. Oh, that is terrible today. Today it's just not working for me. But they've got different sections. Let me just do that again. Got different sections, but inside this whole thing is one thing. Very important to remember. Annelids, different section, all work individually. These guys, their armor or their exoskeleton, that is separate, but the inside, the internal structure of them is solid. Okay, not solid as in hasn't got the endoderm and mesoderm and all of that. It's got different parts, but it's one long thing. They're not separate from each other. Right, that is what you call your crustaceans. Right. The next one, if we go more down, oh, there's another crustacean. Look how beautiful that looks, hey? I love it when we have stunning pictures like this. The other one was just a picture that we draw, and there's one, that is a shrimp, right? Tastes very nice. Shrimps are very nice, right? Now, these guys, if you can see, look at its armor. It's separated there. Look how nice that looks, right? This armor is there so that he can move. You see how he can crawl up in a ball and then shoot himself out? That's what the armor does. Very important to make sure that those sections are there. If they're not there, they cannot move, right? The next one we're going to have a look at is your arachnids. We all know what arachnids is, hey? You know what an arachnid is?
Spiders.
A spider, the big thing on the man's face. Arachnids. Now, arachnids are also quite cool right? Arachnids have two body sections, okay? They are two body sections. In other words, it has, you know, you normally hear about head, thorax, and abdomen and all of that, right? This thing only has two. Okay, your head, the anterior section, consists of head and thorax. In other words, the head and the thorax is almost like one thing, right? And the rest of it, the end piece, the posterior end, or the abdomen, is all by itself. Okay, that is why they can grow so nice and big on the back end. Okay, remember they shoot out the webs and all of that, so that's very important. But this abdomen, the nice thing about this abdomen, it is unbelievable. But that is actually very soft. So the abdomen in the back, if I had a spider, the first part of the spider would look like that, and the end piece would look nice and big. Remember, you get all your legs, and all the legs are going to come from there, right? I know I've drawn too many, but that's life. And over here, this piece here, what I'm coloring in now, that little piece there, you won't believe it, but it's actually soft. Okay? It is not hard. And not only that, but it's also waterproof. Okay? That the water cannot penetrate in. So it's soft. Sometimes it's got little hairs. If you look at your, what are those big spiders that everybody hates? Do you know? Can you remember what their names are?
Those hairy ones.
Yes. What is it called? I'll think of the name in a few minutes.
I don't know.
It's the, come on.
Tarantula?
That's the one I'm
That's
looking
it.
for. Tarantula, right? The tarantula has little hairs in the back of it, which it can actually shoot into you when it's scared, right? And it goes into your skin and it festers and all of that. So tarantulas can be very dangerous if they don't even bite you. So they can go into your skin and stick you, but they've got hair on there. But that whole abdomen, that whole big thing on the back, right? That is actually soft. And you know what? We learned it the hard way. I saw somebody learn it the hard way. He had a pet tarantula, and he dropped him by accident. And the problem with dropping a tarantula is as he hits the ground, he actually splats. Because it's not hard shell on the outside, right? He actually splats, and it's terrible.
disgusting.
And yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's disgusting. But I mean, shame. I felt very sorry for it. So we cleaned it up and went to go get a new one. But the point of it, it is waterproof, cuticle on the outside, so it's very soft. Please remember that. Look after your arachnids, right? Look at that. Look how beautiful, beautiful those things look, hey? I took a nice one. It's beautiful colors. It's blue. And if you have a look, there's the abdomen that we were talking about, okay? And the front part, there we go. That's part of the head. So it's one section, two sections, okay? That is very nice. It's beautiful. And you see how the hair is coming out, as I was telling you, okay? You also get the scorpion, okay? The scorpion is also part of that family, okay? Now, if you have a look at it, this does have sections on it. It does have sections, but mostly you have a look at your arachnids are normally part of your spiders, okay? They have the head, and then the head, this whole piece is the first piece. There's number one, and then the back piece would be that, okay? Very important, okay? So they do get the ones that don't have a cuticle, or the waxy cuticle, so it is a bit hard. These things actually they're actually soft. They're soft, but they have that chitin covering on it, okay? These are two beautiful animals, right? If we have a look at the next one is insects. Now, insects, these are cool. Remember I told you about the ants. Now, the ants are insects, okay? The ants, 3/4 of all known species are found on land or in air. There's not many that you find in the sea, okay, which is cool. I'm sure we'll find some someday, but there's not many of them. So 3/4, that's almost a whole bunch of every single insect in the world, okay, is found inside, on the land or in the air, okay? That's a nice, lovely fact, okay? Very few marine ones, okay? These guys have 3 body parts, okay? They'll have the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, okay? Now we start dividing them into their 3 different sections. You can see a clear difference between the two, okay? And I'm going to try and show you if I can see the difference. As I was saying in the front there, you get the head, the thorax, and the abdomen, okay? These guys are starting to get more and more complicated, okay? They have 2 antennae, okay? So remember, if they have a face, let me do it like this, Okay, they have two antennae. There's the one, there's the other. That's terrible drawing. But there's the one, there's the other. Okay, two antennae, which is cool. They use those for feeling and all of that. They also have compact eyes. Okay, now what is a compact eye? Can you remember, Kat, what a compact eyes are?
Compact eye. No. Maybe ones that can close up or open up, or they're
You're trying. That's all I'm
or-
worried about. Now, if I have a look at it, we know eyes as, let's do that, with a little pupil there, because that's what you see at home, right? Wait, let me do this, because you're going to get very confused. There we go. Okay, so we know our eyes like that, right? Now, a compact eye looks like that. Cool. We're happy with that. It's nice and easy. But now have a look at this. This thing does this. It's got all different little eyes on the inside, right? So I know I'm drawing it terribly, but what I'm doing is, have you noticed how in those eyes you get little eyes? So they actually see, instead of like us, we see, you guys are seeing me. There we go, right? If you people had compact eyes and you had, let's say, 60 eyes, right? That thing consists of 60 little eyes. That means there will be 60 of me standing here, right? 60, you'll see different eyes, 60 of me standing here, and then you'll take it into your brain and your brain will convert it into one. That's quite cool. That's a compact eye, which is nice. I hope that explains it nicely.
What's the use of that?
It's just easier to see.
Okay.
It's you get it all over. You get a nice different view.
Oh,
Whereas with
okay,
us, we have to concentrate on one thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
cool.
which is a nice thing to look at.
So
right?
they can see you and what's behind you and on the side and on the up
But
there.
yes, but it's a broad vision.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, they don't concentrate on one specific thing.
Okay.
Okay, I hope that's made it nice and clear. Okay, now there we go. So they've got compact eyes. Okay, their mouth parts. Mouth parts are very important. Their mouth parts are the maxilla. Just have a look at these funny things. The maxilla, the labium, okay, and then included in that, okay, they have the biting mandibles. Now, doesn't that sound a little bit not like upstairs? They've got the maxilla, the labium, and then still biting mandibles, okay? Now, what these two do, the maxilla and the mandible, what they actually do is they hold the food into place. Right? And then you get the chopping things that come around and chop it and kill it and do whatever it needs to do. Okay, so the insects, they have the first two that hold it, and then the next ones that chop it and bite it and go crazy. Okay, so that is what those specific things actually do. Okay, and then most of them have two pairs of wings, but some don't have wings at all. So if you think about it, you have your, I took a nice one, yeah, actually. If you have a look at it, there we go. Those, if you have a look at it, they don't have wings, okay? That should be your dung beetle. He sits and he pushes the dung all over the place, right? It's a very good reason why he does that, but I'm not going to get into that now. But this guy, okay, he doesn't have he doesn't have wings. But if you have a look at the grasshopper that I was telling you about, remember, he has wings. If you see a grasshopper, he jumps in the air and he flies away, okay? And then he lands again. Now, he has wings. This guy doesn't have wings. Now, look at this. This is cool. Okay, white. I think this one might work. The pink will work. You see the head? There's a head, completely separate. This head is all by itself. Then you see the neck section. Can you see the neck section? There we go. That's 2. Okay, and then the next section, which is 3. Okay, there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. Okay, now I want to take you back quickly so you can actually see what I mean. There we go. Too much. There we go. See? Can you see a head there? I can't see the head. All I see is it's this big part over there, this big part over there, and this small or big part over there. There's only 2. There's no separate head there. Okay? So that's a 2-body plan. The other one has a 3-body plan. Okay? Please don't forget that. So we're starting to become more and more complex, if you've noticed. There's the 3-body plan. Okay? Very, very nice. They're all individual from itself. Okay, now, the next one. This is cool. The Myriapoda. Okay, these guys are divided into 2 things. Okay, they are your centipedes and your millipedes. Okay, now, these are the things that my mom used to call, I don't know if you've ever heard it, Kat. It's called shongololos.
Yes, I know those.
Shongololos. I'm sure. Where does that come
I
from?
have no clue where they come
Shongololos.
from.
We all know about shongololos, right? They are segmented body, one pair of legs on each side of each segment, right? So if you've got a little segment over there, okay, you've got a piece over there and a leg over there. A pair of legs on each segment, okay? There it is. They are a single pair of antenna. So if it's got to its head in the front, a single pair of antenna, right? So it can feel its way around. Nice. Now, I'm talking about the centipedes. Okay? Now, with centipede, single antenna, okay, it has a poisonous claw and strong jaws. Okay? Strong jaws is because it's got to actually get to its prey and it's got to eat its prey. Poisonous claws is to protect itself. Now, as soon as you see it, you will know exactly. Hold on. Those are the ones that run around on the floor and we actually like jump up and down and go crazy for, right? And if you have a good look at the picture, there he is. He looks dangerous, right? Just have a good look at that. He looks dangerous. If that thing comes crawling to me, I think these are the type of things that you normally go to, I don't know if you guys still do it, but felt school, where you go in the bush and you learn about things. These are the ones that the people say, stay away from, look in your shoes, make sure that there's nothing in your shoes, right? That is a centipede. Okay, the centipedes. The next one, okay, is your millipedes. Now, your millipedes are your shongololos. Okay, they're almost identical, just one different. They are not flat. Okay, I've put you flattened. Okay, the reason why I did that is it's a mistake. I want you to understand that this flattened should never ever be there. That is the difference between the millipede, right? Very important. They are just a segmented body. Okay, just a segmented body. They also have a pair of legs on each side. They also have a single pair of antenna. And lastly, they also have strong jaws, right? And there is the shongololos. Okay, now, I want you to picture that, keep your eyes on it, and I'll talk about it when we get back after the break.
Sure, I don't think you want to keep your eyes on that. But just in case you do, do not move from your seat so that you can see it right after this. Welcome back, Mindsetters. What an awesome show. I mean, we've had some very creepy and crawly things here. I feel like they're crawling on my skin now. They should have one of those signs that says, those warnings to sensitive viewers. Do you guys know what it says? Please remind me about what that sign says, because we should put it up at the beginning of Llewellyn's show that says, this show must be like hectic for sensitive viewers, because I'm having a hard time seeing all these creepy crawlies. They really are. I know some of you are enjoying it. I know the boys enjoy this more than the girls, but there are some boys out there that are like, ew, what are those? But hey, carry on, Llewellyn.
Now, if you were here last week, we just explain to Kat what we did. We did the internal worms, and you would see them pulling the worm out of their legs
That
and
is
in their eyes.
disgusting.
And can you remember
That
that?
is
That was
so
so cool.
disgusting.
It was the nicest thing out, right? Now, we ended off on this, right? Now, these are your millipedes, right? As you can see, there's lots of legs, right? And each leg is joined, each pair of legs are joined to a specific section. Okay, now, these things work free all over the place. Now, if you walk around and you go and you see these, you get the ones that look white, but they're dead, right? If you break them open, you can see each segment, which is quite cool, but you don't often see them anymore. I used to see hundreds. When else
Yeah.
have you seen one of these?
I haven't seen one in ages.
Well, I went to the bush at the end of last year, and I saw big ones. They were like this size.
That is
They were
not
so
cool.
so amazing. My son was chasing them all over the place. He thought it was like
A pet.
perfect thing since sliced bread. He loved these things. But then again, he is my son, so
Yeah.
he goes crazy with all of these things. Okay, so I'm going to go off this. This is where we end, right? This is the end piece of your arthropods. Okay, the next section we're going to do. Okay, chordata. Okay, now chordata, the chordata is quite amazing. Okay, chordata is where we come in. Okay, chordata are your fish, your amphibians, your reptiles, your birds, and your mammals. Okay. Now, the reason why they called chordata is because they've got a chord. It's called a notochord. We'll get to notochords now. Now, the way to look at it is you get vertebrates and invertebrates, if you remember quite carefully. Now, invertebrates means they don't have a vertebra. And then you get your vertebrates, which are your chordata. So at the beginning, we were doing invertebrates. Now we're doing chordata. Okay, now, in actual fact, while I'm thinking about it, my boys at my school at the moment, right, they showed me something. It was amazing. I can hear it, but it's amazing. Maybe you should go and have a look at it if you've got the internet, okay? You go to Google, and you go have a look at the 9 Phylum Song. Okay, if you like Eminem and the rap and all of that, go have a look at it. It is amazing. The 9 Phylum Song. Can you put it up there so they can all remember it? 9 Phylum Song. What it does is it tells you all about the phylums, and it gives you pictures, and it's rapping it. A lot of you guys might enjoy that. I thought that's a nice take in things, right? Okay, so let's carry on. Chordata are multicellular. They have lots of cells, okay, all over the place, right? Okay, there it is. They coelomate, lined by the mesoderm, which we spoke about. We all know this now. Every time I mention coelomate, you know exactly what I'm talking about, so I'm thrilled to hear that, okay? They do have a through gut. Every single animal that we've been talking about, from the platyhelminthes all the way to the chordata, all have through guts. Don't forget it, okay? They have a through gut, okay? I spoke about the notochord. Now, the notochord comes from the top part, right in the bird, in the making us, if you know what I'm saying, or making the animal stage, right when it's still a fetus, right? It comes from the gut, the top part of the gut, the notochord is made, right? And this notochord has specialized tissue, okay, unique tissues that actually have a sheath with connective tissue in it, okay? It has a connective tissue in it. And if you remember, in that connective tissue, what would we find in there? It's our nerves, and it is our vertebral column, right? It's this backbone over here, this one here. You see this thing here that you break and you can't walk anymore? That is your vertebral column, right? And that is your spinal cord. Okay, you break that and we're in trouble. This is what your chordata are. Now, let's have a look at what chordata actually are. There they are. Now, you can't tell me that those aren't beautiful. Finding Nemo is a fish. I thought a beautiful blue frog is nice. It's some nice pictures this time, right?
Better than the other
right?
ones, but still.
Come on. You get your crocodile, right? And you get your aves or your birds. Okay? There we go. And then, of course, the last one. Sorry, guys. I had to do it. Me and my wolves. I love wolves. I had to put my wolf up. Okay? That is our mammal. Okay, so we got the reptiles, we got the amphibians, we got the aves, we got the pisces, we got all of these things, and I know I'm using other words to what I said just now, but we'll get them. Okay, now these are the chordata. There's 5 chordata, and if there's 5 chordata, let's start. But before we start, I want you to have a good look at what I've got up here. Now, if you have a look up here, this might scare you. Each layer, or each one of these, are different parts, let me just move it up, are different parts of development for different animals. Okay? Now have a look at this. They all look very, 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 very similar. I don't see anything different. Well, maybe this one a little bit thinner than that one. Okay? Then have a look. Then this one, these two change. These still look similar. Then the next few change, and then they... Okay, they're also, I mean, look at this cat, hey? All of these are the same. Now, if you have a look at it, if I bring it up to the names, right, this one's a fish, okay? This one's a salamander. Now, salamander is something that can live in water and out of water. They're specific things, right? You get your tortoise, you get your chicken, you get your pig, your cow, your rabbit, and your human. Even your humans here, look how they all look the same as a human. They all look the same. It's amazing. Right? That is a nice picture to get. So I'm sure Kat is going to put it up for us, right?
Yeah, I can.
It's a very nice picture to get. Now, next one, did I move over? Yes. Fish. Okay? I'm quickly going to go through, I'm going to go through as quick as I can now, okay? So we can get through this whole thing. Fish, they have bones or cartilage as a skeleton. the outermost, what's the name, is scales, right? They have gills, so they can breathe. And in actual fact, all of us, all the chordata, when they're inside the womb, they all had gills. Can you believe it? Including us.
Including humans.
We had gills
That is
once upon a
interesting.
time. And then, of course, they have fins for our movement in that. Okay, the next one are your amphibians. They've got bones. Okay, the bones, they need to breed near water. They always have to breed near water. Okay, they've got moist skin. They breathe through their skin. That's why they've got to be in moist water, which means they can actually, they can dry out very easily, which is a big, big problem, right? And I made a nice picture of it. Stunning frogs again. Okay. Next one is you get your reptiles. Your reptiles have got a scaly body. They've also got their bones on the inside, or the skeleton, right? They lay like what they're called leathery eggs. Well, that's cool. Leathery eggs, okay? And most of them have 4 legs except for the snake. And of course, mention of snakes, and there's your king cobra, and of course your beautiful animal changes color, okay? Then we get birds. Birds have got feathers all around. They've got what do you call those things? I did put it here somewhere. I just need to find it. Scales on their legs, right? They've got scales on their legs. They got fur. They've got a bony structure, but their bones are very hollow so that they can fly, right? That is cool, okay? And they lay hard shelled eggs, okay? Now, these hard shelled eggs, the reason why they're hard is for protection, right? Your snakes and all of that, they come along and they lay the leathery eggs because they bury them under the ground, right? And nice, interesting information. I don't know what degree it comes from, but crocodiles, okay, and your a lot of your other lizards and all of that, right? If the temperature is a certain amount, all the eggs are females. If the eggs are a certain amount in temperature, they're all men. So different temperatures give
Oh,
you different
wow.
sexes of the WhatsApp, which is unbelievable, right?
That would be cool.
That is cool.
If it happened to humans, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'm having 2 boys. I wouldn't know what temperature it is. Now, the last one. Well, let me show you what I've got here. How gorgeous is that? Hey, the fish eagle.
Yeah, that is nice.
Fish eagle is absolutely stunning. If you have a look at it, it's got its wings, right? It's got a beak. Now, they've got a beak instead of teeth, right? The beak cracks everything, the teeth cracks everything, okay? So that's what that does. And then, of course, over here, you'll see the feet have scales on it, okay? The last one we're looking at is our mammals, okay? Mammals, that's important for us. Mammals, they have bones on the inside, okay? They've got bones on the inside. They have a skin covered with hair or with fur, okay? I've got hair somewhere here. I know, yeah, we go, hair, right? And then lastly, they actually suckle from mammary glands. Now, mammary glands are, of course, the breast of a woman or a breast of the animal, okay? The teats. They suckle from that. They get milk from that, okay? And, of course, the last picture, I had to get to this today because I thought it's very nice. Now, what I've done is you all know them quite clearly. We've got Ty and Cat because they are mammals, okay?
Oh, my
You've all
word.
seen it. There they are, mammals, both of them. They do drive us nuts, but they are wonderful people, right? So, these guys, they have everything for them. These are the most complex animals you get, are your mammals, okay? You don't get any more complex mammals or any complex animals than the human being, okay? They do everything. They look after their young. They breastfeed the young. Their bodies started losing most of its hair. They're not got fur anymore, which is very important, okay? It's mainly for the heat, and we adjust our temperatures. But when we get to that, okay, I think that we've done everything that we need, right? I hope that I've helped you, okay? If there's any questions, please let me know. Even for the next few minutes or so, I will try and answer them as quick as I can.
Okay.
Okay? And good luck, guys, for your exams. And I will see you next week for the adaptions of this, of body parts. Okay? So I will see you then.
Thank you, Llewellyn. Thank you, Mindsetters. What an awesome, creepy show. It really was good to get into the body parts of other creatures, including mammals. I feel like I'm more advanced than those people in the photos. So, hey, there's cheers to that. I'm more complex than you. Anyway, guys.
Oh, that's
hope you
nice to
guys-
know.
hope you guys had an absolutely amazing show. Join us next week for more life sciences, and we will go into more detail. So make sure that you are here for that. Bye-bye, guys.